My heart is so cold, my energy is contagious. All the pain, I can't take it. I'm staying grounded and graceful, cause I know everything that I've been through only made me count my blessings daily. Yeah, they've been acting shady, but I don't take it personal. The memories fading, I'm enjoying the moment. I've been smelling the roses, taking time to reflect, stepping back, the truth unfolding, Stand low, got nothing to prove, cause I'm about to blow. I've been in the booth, speaking to my soul. You know that I'm true, either way it goes. Either way it goes, I cannot turn cold, staying on the low. I've been protecting my soul. If your intentions are not pure, I can't let you get too close, cause I'm vibrating high. Ain't got time for your ego, these niggas quit to turn me back. Acting like the amigos, he never cared in the shows. Wasn't with you at your lows, assuming that you gonna fold. But baby, I've been growing ever since I let you go. And I've been doing better, and I know that hurts to know. Hurts to know. Only good vibes around me, and that's for sure. Only good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. You see me searching for my inner peace. I've been learning more about myself and my purpose. Truth always come to the surface. Was hurting, but I had to heal. Releasing all the pain that I always held. Been going through some changes, I'll make it still. Protecting my soul to keep it real. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes.
Welcome everyone. Please let me know if you hear me all right. Trying to work this out. So welcome on in, everyone. All right, let's see who we have here. Rebecca N. What's up, Rebecca? What's up, K West? Carol, what's up with you? And Foxy Lady. What's up, Foxy Lady? And Lisa, what's up? What's up, Scott? I appreciate and love you too, Scott. What's up, Lisa? I prefer when Carol bursts into the chat at a solemn moment. Don't worry, there's plenty of opportunity. What's up, True Justice? What's up? Did I say Tracy Fleetwood yet? What's up, Tracy Fleetwood? All right. Bobby Smith. Phoenix, what's up? All right. Carol. Pam, what's up, Pam? All right. And Bill, what's up, Bill? See, what's up, Canadian Nana? Hope you're doing great. Hello, chatters. All right. Did I say hello, Bill? Yeah, so please hit the like, everyone, and do whatever you want to do. All right, so that's everyone. If you're just watching, please join the chat. It's nice to have you join the chat because you get to participate in the conversation down there, and it's nice to have everyone joining in. And as you know, here on this channel, I like to pay attention to the chat and talk to the chat. So if you join in, I'll join in. That's how we'll do it. All right, Friday. So we had quite an eventful week. We had quite an eventful week. Phew. Wow, there's so much to talk about. I don't know where to start. So, just a moment, please. All right, I just cannot beat these allergies no matter what I do. It's just been horrible. Anyone know if there's any truth to the rumors that Greeno is being detained in Canada? Don't know. Do you know? What's up, K West? All right, so wow. So yeah, there was a. Let's see if I can share the screen. Bobby and K West, what's up? All right, let's see if I can share the screen. Let's see. Okay. Now, I don't know how many of you saw this. Maybe that's better. Is that a little better for you? All right. I tell you what, before I get started with this, just let me say something. Let me say something. Deb, try not to be too excited, will you? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the photos chosen. I just want to point something out to you. Notice the photos chosen. Okay. Okay. Notice the photos chosen. Okay. Try not to be too excited, Deb. Try not to be too excited, huh? Try not to be too excited, Deb. Nope, not today, not tomorrow either. Try not to be too excited, Deb. How about you tell the truth about the obituary? I think that people would like to hear the truth about the obituary, since you're hiding the truth about the obituary. I think the people, the community would like to know what you know about the obituary, since you're protecting those who created it. Okay? And I'm sure Holly Lowry would like to know about the obituary, since you're the one who's protecting whoever's created it. Okay? But you're supposed to be a trustworthy Christian woman. Try not to be so excited, Deb. Okay? Oh, by the way, you're happy about this, Deb? Are you happy about this too? Because this would have given us the leaks. Okay, so now we'll never know anything about the leaks from the court system, because you're excited about this too. And oh, let's look at this one. Let's look at this one. Deb, do you have some weird worship sickness? Are you worshiping this woman for some reason? Try not to be too excited, Deb. Try not to be too excited. Matter of fact, let's take a look at this. What's up with these photo selections, Deb? Try not to be too excited. Try not to grift off of 4 black girls, please, and their mother. Please stop the grifting. Okay? Okay, Deb? Now, I've been nice to you, but shit like this, Deb, shit like this, people want to know about the obituary, Deb. Everyone wants to know about the obituary. You know about the obituary, Deb. Okay, moving right along. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I read this. I don't think that reading it would do you any good. So this is a rare instance in which I will not read this for you, because try as you might to read this, it's extremely convoluted and complicated. And you know, we've read many documents from the courts, and they are never very difficult. Okay, they're never really difficult. But to be honest with you, this is difficult for me. I don't even know what's being said. Like, in reading this, I did not know what I just read. And that's uh that's saying a lot, because I often understand very clearly what I read, but this one right here, it threw me for a loop. I mean, it was just it's very complicated words and wording. And immediately upon reading this, I thought, wow, is this a precedent setting ruling? And is it possible to go further? You see, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how these things work, but I wonder if this might go up to US Supreme Court, because there seems to be some contradictions and complications in this. And it's also very, very difficult. And it seems to be precedent setting. So we'll have to wait till some attorneys clarify for us here on this channel. But as you know, as you can obviously see, Deb was quite excited about it. You see this monster right here, this monster. See this monster right here? This monster right here was quite excited about it. So that should tell you all you need to know. All right, so and there's some public commentary here. Okay. So basically, the bottom line, if you're going to summarize in one sentence, it means Judge Gold will remain on the case and not be replaced. A new judge will not be appointed. Okay. And similarly, another unbelievable comment followed here. Um, Unbelievable for fake reasons. Okay. And then a little smarty pants comes in and says they aren't fake reasons. Okay. And then this person also does word salad. Okay. Um, then there's some other stuff like this. None of this makes any sense to me. You see, it's a bunch of non-experts discussing back and forth. Okay. So, Dickory here has an amazing observation. At least on a positive note, it's a nice professional font. You know. Okay. So the font's nice. Okay. So we got that. All right. Then there's some, now someone's coming in with some precedent for this decision, sort of, or some context. I don't know. So you know, there's conversation here. All right, so let me see if I can do this. You see? Okay. Boom. This is another summary point. He's basically saying you can only file one motion at a time. It's complicated. So I'm not going to pretend to know anything about it or about the justifications and all of that. It's honestly, it's the most complicated filing I've read. I mean, how about I do this? Let's just read it, because it won't, you'll see, it won't mean anything to you either. I promise. This shit is, okay. Okay, how about I do this? Give me a moment. All right. All right. So I always love when I can draw your attention to something I've said that was predictive and shows that I was right. And so let me just go ahead and take the moment to pat myself on the back. For something I said in my last stream was that, or in my last Delphi related stream, was that I asked a rhetorical question, and I believe Phoenix answered it. I asked, how many days has it been that this has been sitting over at the Supreme Court? And I believe it was Phoenix who correctly said 7 days. And to which I responded, correct. And I believe it's because they're trying to figure out what to do, how to deny this, because it's matter of factual. What the points that were stated, as you might or might not remember. One was that the rule is 30 days to rule, okay, or have a hearing. Gull was in, I believe, 60 or more than 60 days on the third Frank's motion, and I believe approximately about 120 days on the fourth Frank's motion. So both of those are well beyond 30 days. So are we all in agreement there? Okay. So the rule is 30 days. Gull was well beyond 30 days on both the third and the fourth Frank's motion. So my thought was that it's taking a week for them to brainstorm and figure out how to deny this. And that's something I said in my last Delphi stream. Okay, that's why it was taking long, because they're trying to figure something out. And I believe that you'll see here, what they figured out was extremely complicated, and but it managed to achieve the goal, which is not removing Gull and allowing her to be a lazy judge, or to go 3 and 4 times over the court rule limit for addressing these Frank's motions. Okay. So now I'll just show you this, because I'm serious. Like, I cannot make heads or tail reading this. It's word salad, and it's almost like spaghetti. Okay, like they twisted these sentences around each other, and it's just the context is extremely difficult. Finds that the withdrawals of the submission above the matter from judge is not warranted. Okay. A review of the chronological case summary reveals that on March 13, 2024, Mr. Richard M. Allen filed a motion entitled Richard Allen's Third Frank's Notice and Request for Frank's Hearing based upon newly discovered evidence and request for findings of facts and conclusions of law upon any ruling on this request. On April 29th, the CCS reveals that Mr. Allen filed a motion entitled Defendants Richard Allen Fourth Frank's motion based upon newly disclosed evidence and request for hearing. On May 7th, the trial court issued an order of judgment of the court where the trial judge stated defendants' third and fourth requests for Frank's hearing will be ruled upon and not set for hearing unless necessary. On July 11th, 2024, Mr. Allen filed his precipice seeking to have the matter withdrawn from the trial judge for failing to rule on his two motions pursuant to Trial Rule 53.1A, which is the rule that I just summarized to you that says 30 days. However, Mr. Allen is mistaken and the matter should not be removed from trial court. Okay. According to Trial Rule 53.1A, if a trial judge fails to rule on a motion set the motion for hearing within 30 days, that's what I was saying, the cause may be withdrawn from trial court. However, Mr. Allen has waived any relief under TR 53.1 by filing motions beyond the time that either party could have legitimately raised a claim for removal. Regarding the predecessor rule to Trial Rule 53.1, the Supreme Court held it is well settled that a party cannot claim the benefit of Rule 1 to 13 when by his conduct he has consented or waived his right to claim it. Board of Medical Registration and Examination versus Turner. Case was cited for this holding in State Ex Rel Cope versus Cass Circuit Court. In footnote 1, the Supreme Court stated, similarly, the benefit of Trial Rules 53.1 or 53.2 may be waived where the deadline for a ruling has passed, but rather than filing a precipice to withdraw the cause, a party files pleadings or otherwise takes voluntary action of record inconsistent with that party's right to invoke those rules. See Generally Board of Medical Registration versus Turner. Mr. Allen filed a motion on March 13, which warranted the trial court to issue ruling on the motion by Friday, April 12th. The trial judge failed to issue a ruling. Now, okay. Shit. Okay. Come on. However, instead of filing a precipice for withdrawal as early as Monday, April 15th, or prior to the filing of any subsequent motion, Mr. Allen filed an additional motion. On April 29th, Mr. Allen filed his defendant's Richard Allen Ford Frank's motion based upon newly disclosed evidence and request for hearing. Because Mr. Allen filed a motion seeking to advance the matter before the trial court, Mr. Allen has waived any relief under 53.1 concerning his motion filed March 13th. In terms of Mr. Allen's motion filed April 29th, 2024, he has also waived any relief under Trial Rule 53.1A. Mr. Allen's motion warranted a ruling by the trial judge by Wednesday, May 29, 2024. The trial judge failed to issue a ruling by May 29, 2024. However, instead of filing a precipice for withdrawal as early as Thursday, May 30th, or prior to filing any subsequent motion, Mr. Allen filed an additional motion on June 18th. The CCS reveals that Mr. Allen filed a motion entitled Accused Response to this Court's May 31st, 2024 Order of Judgment of the Court and Notice of Conflict. Because Mr. Allen filed a motion seeking to advance the matter before the trial court, Mr. Allen has waived any relief under Trial Rule 53.1A concerning his motion filed April 29, 2024. So that's both Fourth Frank's motions. Precipice is denied. Accordingly, submission of this case is not withdrawn from this trial judge. In accordance with Indiana Trial Rules 52.3E and 53.1E, the local clerk must enter this determination in a chronological case summary of this case and provide a copy of this notice to the trial judge and all parties of record in the proceeding. Okay. Justin Faulkner. Okay, so let's get Four Pits on with the summary here. This case is, and always will be, a big steaming pile of horse shit, or hog shit, as Mr. Pitts puts it. On the plus side, this guy certainly details that she didn't rule timely on these. Yes, in both of them. He specifically says she's a lazy fucking judge. Hopefully they kick it back to the Supreme Court and get her off for bias. Okay. So, welcome in, Dennis McKean. Welcome in. So as you see, it's a huge complication. Bottom line is, Why isn't she acting on any of the Franks? I mean, I think it's pretty clear why, because the Franks are devastating to the case. She's afraid of the Franks. An extreme contradiction. By the way, speaking of bias, let's put that back up there, Mr. Phoenix. Where is it, sir? Okay. Speaking of bias, let me ask all the haters a rhetorical question. Yes, that means you, troll farm and prosecution shills. Uh, here's a question. Why were Scrimmin and Labrato offered a Frank's hearing if they so wanted? And why, when Baldwin and Razi were reinstated, was that offer not extended to Baldwin and Razi? Can someone please explain that? I mean, someone just explain that for me, please. Because is this about Baldwin and Razi or Scrimmin and Labrato? Or is it about the person they are representing, the person behind them, Richard Allen? I mean, if it's about Scrimmin and Labrato or Baldwin and Razi, isn't that unhinged? Any actions she takes should be as if the two attorneys, whoever's in front, standing in front of Richard Allen, as if they're invisible. She should be ruling for Richard Allen. Okay, Frank's, okay, well, either Richard Allen gets it or Richard Allen doesn't. What does it matter if it's Scrimmin and Labrato or Baldwin and Razi? Remembering that Scrimmin and Labrato were buddies of hers. Okay. So sure does seem to me like she's got some fucking bias against Baldwin and Razi, who are not her friends. Because anyway, I'll drop it. I'll let it go. But perhaps some of you, perhaps some of the residents of Carroll County should ask her. Perhaps they should ask her, why in the fuck does it matter whether it's Scrimmin Labrato or Baldwin and Razi? Who do you have to be to get a Frank's motion? I mean, a Frank's hearing. I mean, I just think she's unhinged. Bias is a nice word. What's up, what's up, Diamond Eyes? What's up, Diamond Eyes? What's up, Chevy Killer? What's up, Sherry Faye? What's up, Duck and Felonies? Everyone new coming in, or just coming in, I should say. Say it the right way. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, but what does it matter who the attorneys are. I mean, who do you have to be to get a Franks hearing? Scrimin and Liberato, obviously. So that's my feeling on that. Uh, but it was funny though, because they could not deny fact that she did not rule, or let's look at it again. What is the wording? The trial judge failed to issue a ruling by May 29, 2024. Okay. The trial judge failed to issue a ruling by April 12th, 2024. So we had a contempt hearing and a Supreme Court ruling. The rest has been that Carroll County hog shit. Anyhow, that's that stuff. Yeah, but your old typical haters, your Frank Meisters, your Deb's True Crime Notebook, your who's on there with that chomo? Uh, Kristen. All right, your old Mark Roberts and Tommy Frost. They're just on the bullshit train. They're on the bullshit train, all of them. So yeah, it's the Delphi fucking circus, and hope you enjoy it. Now, I have thrown the. I have thrown the link up, so everyone is invited to join. Whoever would like to join in. So I've been doing a little work with the Trump shooting, okay, and I have found some things, and I'll give you my opinion now on that. So it looks like there's at minimum a second shooter at this time. I'm going to work on a video for you to demonstrate to you the evidence of that, but I have not done so yet. I had a very busy day, but it looks to me like there's a second shooter, and that immediately screams conspiracy. So I believe we're dealing with a hit job, a failed hit job. Okay. I believe we're dealing with a failed hit job, but we're not dealing with the lone wolf shooter. I believe we're dealing with a hit that went afoul. Two gunmen is what I believe, and there's definitive reasons why that are demonstratable. So I will demonstrate that for you in a video. It's pretty scary. Well, no, I'm not talking about visual evidence. I guess I'll give you a clue. I'm talking about audio evidence. Um, but there's something that also looks suspicious about the water tower. But I'm equally suspicious about the second floor windows in the building adjacent to where the lone wolf sniper that the mass media is pushing was located. So I don't know if you had snipers in that second story of the adjacent building, or if there was a sniper up on the water tower. There could have been both. I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely JFK Part 2, except in this case, They missed. They missed. They missed. It's a failed attempt. And so, my opinion at this time is we're dealing with a deep state hit job. Deep state hit job that it failed. Failed assassination, a deep state assassination attempt. Um, I think that the one that got his head blown off was a patsy. Okay, I think they probably got him involved in a situation to be the one who gets his head blown off, to be the patsy, where the real sniper he got away. Um, so I count 8 shots. First 3, and then there's a volley of 5. So there's 3 plus 5. So what's 3 plus 5? Okay, you got 3 plus 5. 3 plus 5. So I believe you have one sniper who shoots 3, another sniper shoots 5. That equals 8. And you have one individual dead. The other one got away. I'm sure this will be coming out because there's definitive. I mean, when I show you this evidence, your head's going to explode. Speaking of heads being blown off, the evidence will blow your head off. It's bad. Yeah, and the place was crawling with feds. I see what you mean, Tracy Fleetwood. The place was crawling with feds. So I think that's what you're looking at, is a deep state hit that went bad. And who knows? Who knows what will really come? I think that what's going to happen, you see, keep in mind, Trump and Elon Musk and a whole bunch of others have billions of dollars to throw at this. And I really do believe that billions of dollars will be thrown at this to get to the bottom of it. And we're living in an age where it's miles beyond the Zapruder film. You're dealing with hundreds and hundreds of individuals with cameras that are audio and video recording. All of that can be triangulated. You're dealing with resources that you would have never thought in the likes of Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and all the other billionaire donors. So I think this will be looked at and solved. But the signs are there already that you're at least dealing with one other shooter, and that other shooter got clean away, obviously. Okay, so it's a failed hit. And yeah, she's FBI, the woman you're referring to. No, I have no interest in doing the Zapruder film in Grassy Knoll. But welcome in. All right. All right. Not to mention, there is evidence of some despicable insider trading. Trump owns a media conglomerate or corporation. It goes by DJT, I believe, in the stock market ticker, but it used to be called what was it called? World. I can't remember what it used to be called, but it's the corporation that runs Truth Social and some others. And so there was a short. It was like one of the largest shorts imaginable that was placed prior to this failed hit, which kind of looks like it could be something afoul there. Remember that Pelosi also did a similar thing There you go. BlackRock and Vanguard shorted DJT Media by 12 million shares. There you go. And remember, we're talking about is it 35 to 50, 35 to 45 bucks a share. So when you say 12 million shares, understand the cost of each share. Yeah. What's up, Frenchie? So the shorting of the shares, the fact that this Patsy was known to BlackRock, which indicates that he could be an actor who was chosen by BlackRock because of their prior uh, interactions with him. I don't know. Remembering he's a local, BlackRock had used that school to do filming, may have made connections there. Who knows? Um, BlackRock and Vanguard use Austin Financials, yes, to front for the short. Hey, Chevy Killer, I don't think that's right. I think you're wrong there. Let's Google this. Let's figure this out so we can not. All right, let's take a look. It's 12 million shares. Okay, 12 million shares. Austin Private Wealth tried to short. Okay, let me just read it for you. A Texas-based investment company has denied trying to short 12 million shares of Trump Media Technology Group just before the failed assassination attempt on U.S. presidential, claiming it was a clerical error. Right. Short selling involves borrowing a security whose price the borrower thinks is going to fall and then selling it on the open market. One then buys the same stock back later, hopefully for a lower price than it was initially sold for, returns the borrowed stock to the broker and pockets the difference. Okay. The day before the assassination attempt, a company called Austin Private Wealth LLC made a filing with the U.S. Security Exchange Commission for a put option on 12 million fucking shares of DJT. To outside observers, this looked like a bet that the company's value would go down dramatically if Trump would be killed. Others pointed out that Austin had major holdings in Vanguard and BlackRock funds, claiming that they had links with George Soros and the Rothschild family as well. The apparent BlackRock connection fueled suspicions further as the alleged shooter has once appeared in a commercial for the investment behemoth BlackRock. BlackRock yanked the ad after the attempted assassination, which they denounced as aberrant and awful. Yes, like all the Democratic Party did. Almost unbelievably, because as if there were pre-agreed upon strategic talking points that we're going to immediately denounce this because our hands are involved in it. On Wednesday, APW posted a statement on their front page of the website seeking to dismiss the rumors. Okay, here's where they try to do the old switcheroony. APW holds 12 contracts or 1,200 shares, not 12 million, as was filed in error, blaming a third-party vendor for multiplying all option contracts by 10,000. The report was filed on July 12th to reflect the company's June 28th position, but was amended on July 16th when APW became aware of the problem. We deeply regret this error and the concern it has caused, especially at such a fraught moment for our nation. The company then said, adding that it is reviewing our internal procedures to understand how it happened. Anyone who shorted the Donald J. Trump stock came to regret it. On the first day of trading after the Buffalo shooting, its price jumped from $31.25 to $46.17 a share before stabilizing at just above 37. Okay, so let's do the math. Hey, French, would you do math real quick? 37, let's say 35 times 12 million. Okay. So we got that to deal with. Okay. We got some worse news too. Worse news. Let's see. Let's read another one. Let's see if I can pull the article I want to pull. Oh, shit. It's always complicated, isn't it? All right, so let's get to this. It's never easy. Oh, excuse me. Okay, major global IT outage grounds planes and blocks media worldwide. Coincidentally, never mind the timing and the unusual nature of the timing. All right, so disruption to air traffic control systems is being reported around the world. Preliminary reports say a computer glitch may have caused the problem. Issues have arisen in the US, Spain, Germany, Australia, and elsewhere, with authorities forced to cancel takeoffs and landings due to safety concerns. The outage was first reported at about midnight CET on Thursday night, Friday. The failure may have been caused by a software update that that locks Microsoft operating systems and is reportedly not restricted to airlines. Some banks, emergency services, and broadcasters and financial institutions are also said to have been attacked. Computers using 10OS Windows are reportedly crashing and showing the blue screen of fucking death. After an update for a security product provided by the firm CrowdStrike, the company is reportedly working on resolving the issue. Brody Nisbet, CrowdStrike's chief threat hunter, has offered a workaround to deal with what he called a faulty channel file related to the Falcon Sensor cybersecurity app. Okay. CrowdStrike is a company based in Austin, Texas. What a coinkydink. Best known for being hired by the Democratic National Committee to analyze the alleged hack on its servers during the 2016 presidential campaign. The firm concluded that Russia was responsible, setting the stage for the Russiagate claims that Donald Trump had colluded with Moscow to beat Hillary Clinton. Should I read that for you again? CrowdStrike is a company based in Austin, Texas. Coincidentally, arguably best known for being hired by the DNC, coincidentally, to analyze the alleged hack on its servers during the 2016 presidential election campaign. The firm concluded that Russia was responsible. Russia. The outage has apparently affected the Irish airline Ryanair, Spain's main airport operator ANA, and the London Stock Exchange, British News Network, Sky News, and others. Some Russian entities, such as the Domodedovo airport in Moscow, have reported that they were not affected. CrowdStrike 19 times in the Q mentions CrowdStrike 19 times in the Intel boards in a very negative light. Well, let's go look at that. Because when they fuck around, we find out. So, let's give this a try. Oh, I have to do this. Sorry. All right, here we go. Wonderful thing about this here is you can type here. So all we have to do is we can fact check Frenchie right now. Oh, look at that. Fact checking Frenchie is awesome, isn't it? You guys see that or not? Should I blow it up? It's the thing about Mr. French. He don't fuck around, but we find out. Okay. 19 post containing CrowdStrike. As you see, he is correct. Let's go reverse or from oldest to newest. 1 of 22, DNC breach, Dozier, DNC, SR, WL, Hussein, DNI, DIR, Clown DIR, class 1 through 12, Goog, CrowdStrike, DNC. You see all of this? Steele, Podesta, Holder. Okay, CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike closes 100 million financing round led Google Capital. Let's click it. What happens? Is it dead? All right. Oh, that's not it. I'll continue to try here. Oh, of course. Of course. Okay. Clowns revealed in China, 2010. Sold Intel, HRC, open source server, CrowdStrike, granted access, betrayed. The only tip. This will be made public soon. How do you break up something this big? What happens if the low, mid, senior, non-corrupt patriots learned they were sold out? What happened? Who is waiting with open arms with a plan to reorganize under a single entity with direct OS trusted by patriots? Who are trusted? Patriots who understand Intel collection. Okay. We got all of this. Data collection, voice, video, bugging, fake Intel dossier, no name, Clapper, Brennan, Rice, all of this. CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike managed the infiltration program based on payments to Clinton Foundation. Ew. Wang Wing Lang, a Chinese billionaire and donor to the Clinton Foundation and Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe, has been expelled from China's top legislature after being caught up in a widespread cash for votes scheme. On Tuesday, China's national legislature expelled 45 of its nearly 2,900 members, all from the northeastern province of Liaoning. In a huge vote buying scandal, the move was part of an investigation into corruption in a much larger national anti-corruption campaign launched by President Xi Jinping. Wang, who made his fortune in construction and running strategic port near North Korean border, has also been a big donor to New York University, Harvard University, and the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington. Wang's $2 million donation to the Clinton Foundation in 2013 made waves when it was disclosed last year because of his ties to the Chinese government. More recently, his name surfaced amid news that McAuliffe was the subject of an FBI investigation. McAuliffe expressed confidence that in May that Wang, who gave a combined $120,000 to his 2013 gubernatorial campaign and 2014 inauguration, was a legitimate donor. They got rid of people who were not part of his team. He said Wang and others ousted had only lobbied decision makers with meals and token gifts. He wined and dined them and gave them a gift. It's not like they gave them cash. On Friday, McAuliffe's attorney, James W. Cooper, said the governor knows nothing about Mr. Wang and his legal situation in China. Spokesman for the Clinton campaign and the Clinton Foundation did not respond to requests for comment. Big surprise. Wang's construction conglomerate, Herein Enterprises, controls the port of Dandong and processes significant volumes of soybeans shipped out of Virginia. He was courted in 2011 by Governor Robert F. McDonnell, who encouraged Wang's firm to buy 100,000 metric tons of soybeans from Maryland-based Purdue Agribusiness and ship them from Chesapeake to China. Wang's company also helped to build the new Chinese embassy in Washington, assembling and overseeing a team of... See, this guy's a big guy. Big guy. Overseeing a team of artisans who would be loyal to both the Chinese government and the principles of Feng Shui. There's a lot of security involved. There's also artistically knowledgeable about what the Chinese want. There's a lot of Feng Shui that goes into this. Evidently, depictions of four seasons, certain colors are not allowed. Wang's $2 million pledge to the Clinton Foundation drew attention last year from CBS News and then other outlets because of his connection to the Chinese government. Okay, Wang's political donation to McAuliffe reflects sizable overlap in Clinton and McAuliffe donors. Critics say the pattern suggests contributions to McAuliffe, a close friend of Bill and Hillary Clinton, are intended to curry favor with the former president and an aspiring one. Okay. Foreign nationals are prohibited under federal law from making political contributions. So are American subsidiaries of foreign corporations if they are financed in any way by their parent companies or if individual foreign nationals are involved in the decision to make the donation. But a foreign national can donate personally or through an American subsidiary if he holds a green card, which Rojic said is the case for Wang. Wang's name surfaced again in May when the news leaked that the FBI was investigating McAuliffe. Okay. According to state media, some 740,000 officials have been disciplined or punished in Xi's anti-corruption campaign, which is just under 1% of the total party membership. Okay. CrowdStrike managed the infiltration program based on payments to Clinton Foundation. So you get what's being said here about this. Okay, these $2 million and $120,000 to the other guy, Clinton Foundation and McAuliffe. Cash for votes, payments. All right. CrowdStrike. Let's see this. Former FBI General Counsel James Baker met during the 2016 season with at least one attorney from Perkins Coie, the DNC private law firm. Okay. I want to write on behalf of Perkins Coie, LLP, as its general counsel. We understand that your client, Fusion GPS, has received a number of requests for information regarding the identity of clients who engaged Fusion GPS to conduct research during the 2016 presidential campaign. We further are aware that Fusion GPS is currently engaged in litigation in the United States District Court for the DC in an effort to prevent compelled disclosure of its bank records, which would reveal confidential client information. Of course, they don't want anyone to see that. We recognize the important principle of client confidentiality, and blah, 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 blah. Fusion GPS approached Perkins Coie in early March of 2016 and aware that Perkins Coie represented the DNC and Hillary for America with respect to the 2016 elections, expressed interest in an engagement with the firm in connection with the 2016 presidential election to continue research regarding then presidential candidate Donald Trump. Research that Fusion GPS had conducted for one or more other clients during the Republican primary. No one knew just how bad the breach was, but it was clear that a lot more than a single filing cabinet worth of materials might have been taken. A secret committee was immediately created, including Miss Dacey, Wasserman Schultz, Mr. Brown, and Michael Sussman, former cybercrimes prosecutor at the DOJ, who now works at Perkins Coie. How the spy out regarding Russia hacking and POTUS, Russia false narrative, installation of Mueller was constructed. Okay. CrowdStrike. Britain, Australia, and New Zealand have accused Russian military intelligence of carrying out a worldwide campaign of malicious cyber attacks, including the hacking of the US DNC, which never happened. Okay. So the very same CrowdStrike who was all into this, look at this. Does CrowdStrike forget? Remember, the rhetorical questions here are important, okay? Does CrowdStrike possess government capability to trace break-in routes? Does CrowdStrike possess gov capability regarding foreign intercepts? Possible to layer insert code CrowdStrike to designate intruder, intended target? NSA Data Bridge, DNC, CrowdStrike, bulk data collection, matters of national security, highest levels. FISA is only the beginning, the hole is deep. Oh, look, there's mention of Ukraine here. FBI chain of command mid-year investigation, HRC email, FBI chain command FISA, Russia, POTUS, Flintstone, Papadot, Manif, CIA bridge Brennan, Intel, Access, Ukraine link, FBI chain of command, DNC hack, CIA bridge, Ukraine, CrowdStrike, Brennan, reconcile. Chain of command plus DOJ, CIA, F&D found guilty, indictment chapter 115, class 1 to 99. USA v. FISA, can the same argument be made mid-year? DNC. Public optics. Retired left refers to fired forced. FBI. Comey director. Fired. Andrew McCabe, deputy director. Fired. Jim Rybicki, chief of staff, senior counselor. Fired. James Baker, general counselor. Fired. Bill Priestrup, DO counterintelligence. Fired. Peter Strzok. Fired. Lisa Page. Fired. Mike Corton. Fired. John Campbell. Fired. Michael Steinbeck, fired. John Glaccoloni, fired. James Turgo, assistant director, fired. Greg Bauer, fired. Tricia Anderson, fired. Randy Coleman, assistant director of counterintelligence division, removed. House was cleaned, wasn't it? Okay. Was the DNC hacked by Russia? Seth Rich, internal DL, hand-to-hand pass USA, CrowdStrike code insert. CrowdStrike code insert. CrowdStrike testimony regarding DNC and Russia hack. No evidence. Manipulation of source. Comp-to-comp transfer. Internal DL terminal 1 speed. Hand-to-hand transfer. WL published SR 187. Geolocation, date, case summary notes, all witness reports, non-evidence, Russia, POTUS, connect. Dossier, primary vehicle, FISA, Supreme Court impeached, dossier direct, prior to known, no name asset. A lot here, but so CrowdStrike, intimately involved in the Russiagate scandal. Let's see if I can catch up with this chat here. Okay, West. I've noticed a lot of riots are popping up in mainland UK and Ireland at the moment to take our attention and direct it in other places. You got that right. What do you think this was about? What do you think this CrowdStrike mistake was about? Remember what it was. It's a software update that blue screens the computers. My assumption is it's intentional. It's a false flag. It was to create noise to take away from the news of the previous week. It's priority, okay? Because we had priority news, which was assassination, okay? The distraction was already inserted, which was Secret Service, not second shooter. So the misinformation or the narrative was already being steered towards Secret Service, Secret Service, Secret Service instead of second shooter, second shooter, second shooter. Okay, that played its course for a week. Trump makes his speech yesterday. This morning, boom, CrowdStrike, software update, outage. And we got riots in Europe. This is why you cannot watch the news and drink the Kool-Aid. You cannot watch mainstream media and believe a single word of what you're seeing. That would be drinking the Kool-Aid. The minute I saw that this was a CrowdStrike software-induced outage, I knew immediately what it had to be. And that is news to distract you from what you were thinking about last week or earlier this week. Okay, West is out of here. I got to bounce. I'll have to catch up on the rest later, Prof. Some important just has come up. Needs my undivided attention. All right, K West. Good night. First narrative was Iran. Oh yeah, that was attempt to deflect towards Iran. No, we have a deep state hit. It's very apparent. We got a second shooter. You know what that looks like. You know what that looks like right away. It's another JFK, except this time it failed because your bullet missed, and all the other ones missed. So they're going to keep spinning this CrowdStrike outage now. They're going to keep spinning it. They're going to say well, it was a glitch. It was an accident. We tried our best to quickly resolve it. Blah 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 blah. Just, doesn't matter what we're saying as long as everyone is just talking about it. As long as you're talking and thinking about, oh, there's a software outage, or there's a computer outage. As long as you're thinking about that and not thinking about this past week. So, my opinion, you got DNC and DNC, BlackRock, and Vanguard based CrowdStrike and assassination attempt. Austin. What's wrong with that, Michelle? What's wrong with that? Oh, would you rather see the riots in the streets that you saw some years ago? You prefer that? Are you Antifa, Michelle? And what's wrong with that, Michelle? Oh, go check it out, Bobby. What's wrong, Bobby? Go check it out, Bobby. Be careful though. All right. So, um, I don't know. That's kind of all the news I wanted to touch on real quickly. How long did that take? An hour? Took a little long. Well, hopefully she does better in death than she did in life. All right. So, yes, I saw that, Diamond Eyes. All right. Lisa, that's different shit. It's different shit. It's all different shit you're talking about. It's major differences. You're referencing three different ones. But Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 are both similar. They're the sustainable green scam, the green new scam. Uh, it's the green new scam agendas. Remember I played for you the what's her name? Um, I gotta look it up because I can't remember her. I played. Well, and they make it extremely difficult to find. Oh, the Deborah Tavares. Remember that? I played for you the plan to burn up Northern California. Do you remember that? It's all about sustainable green cities and shit. But I played for you something called the plan to burn up Northern California, and it was just a brief interview with Deborah Tavares. Um, Now, I would love to play the entire for you. Maybe that'd be a good thing to do tonight. We could have a watch party. Um, but the plan to burn up Northern California, which was interesting about that, is she was whistleblowing on that before it happened. Okay, before the fires started, and we're talking about the Sebastopol area. Okay, and uh, and she was revealing how all of that was part of Agenda 21. Okay, at the time, uh, and this was maybe five. This was 2014, 2015, something like that. She was talking about that, and just shortly after, sure enough, we started having all of these fires in Northern California, including the very locales that she pointed out were being set up for this by PG&E and the local planning commissions. And boy, it was interesting. But all of that ties into this really horrible Agenda 21 which now has been uh, it has been expanded to Agenda 2030. Let's see. Let's see if I can find this for you. I mean, but remember, we were talking about this Agenda 21 back in 2014, 2015. Um, let's see. Let me see if I can get something done for you. Hmm. Good night, French. Good night to you. Let me see how quickly I can. All right, I know there's no sound. I'm sorry. I was looking for this video. Thought we could do a little watch party. So give me a moment. I'm trying to pull it up for you. We're getting in on this video. Sorry for that. It was difficult to find it here. Gonna take a minute to load up. All right, so it's getting there. All right, let's take a look at the chat in the meantime. Let's see. We got Frenchie's going to work or leaving work. Okay, Frenchie, let's see. They're looking for a suspect in a domestic violence case, says Bobby. Type into Google Images. Let's see what you're talking about. $2024? Is this what you mean? Okay, let's do it with the people. Should we do it with the people? Is this what you mean? Let's see what he's talking about. Let's see if I can add it. Okay, is this what you mean? Nobody, nothing? Is this what you mean? Okay. Oh. I get it. Get out of here, you fly. Okay. Oh, so you got a wife beater? You got a wife beater down the street? Yeah, we got wife beaters in these YouTube streets too. You know that, friend, Bobby Smith? Are you aware of that? All right, let's see what we got here. We're going to upload.
Okay, and here we are, hour number 3. Glad you're along tonight. Tomorrow's Friday. 1 week anniversary.
Friday.
Deborah Tavares is joining us tonight. She has, as usual, a trunk full of data that she's picked up along with Lou. I don't know how they do it, but they're on the road, traveling, going to conferences, listening, recording, doing amazing things to get information together to present on her website, one of them, stopthecrime.net, and on her program, heard here before this program each night, Monday through Friday. Hello, Deborah. Thanks for being here. How are you?
Well, Jeff, the bigger question is, how are you doing? Because I know that you were met with an enormous challenge a week ago. Well, almost a week ago tomorrow.
Yeah, it's, honestly, I've heard, I don't know if there's any, people say that often after a bad wreck, you don't hurt for a week, and then your body says, ouch, and if that's what's happening. I have a fever. I've got, see, the reason I got out of the hospital so quickly, I was supposed to be in there for 4 or 5 days, something like that. I got out the next day because of MRSA. All hospitals have MRSA,
Yes,
and I had a big gash on my shin, which is now, I just noticed my foot and my leg are swollen up, and I don't like that. So I was good to get out of there, but I've got to do something now. This could be something that needs more attention. And then my head, from being whacked around, was left in a state of ouch. It hurts.
Well, I can appreciate that, Jeff. Certainly we know that these horrible technologies are being used on a more massive scale. In fact,
It's so easy to do, Deborah. It's
Yes,
just not,
it is.
it's 1960s technology.
That's exactly right. In fact, I was going to be booking Dr. Ronnie Kilde, Kilde.
I've heard of her.
Yes, an amazing woman. She was actually murdered in February of this year. She talked about microchips, implants, mind control, and cybernetics.
Mm-hmm.
And she spoke about all of these technologies and really was ringing the alarm. She had even gone to a conference that I was able to get some interviews out of in Belgium at the beginning of the year, and had been talking with her until she was murdered. And it was a horrific situation, but all of these technologies are real. And I'm going to just read an email exchange so the listeners can understand.
Between you and she?
Well, no, I'll talk a little bit more about her in a minute, but I really want to get this out because everyone needs to hear this exchange. Now, I'm going to set it up. Sebastopol, California, about an hour north of the Golden Gate Bridge, was the original...
Okay. Guys, I know it's distracting to sit here and look at me. I may turn the camera off, but this is where I want you to really listen to what she's saying. I believe this is about 2015. As a matter of fact, let's see if I can take a look and find the exact date of this broadcast. I'll get it. I'll get it while she's talking so I don't waste much time. But listen to what she's saying, including the places, names, all of this, okay?
Original ground zero against the smart meters. This area was in force, protest to set it up.
Again, listen real close. Okay, please listen real close right here.
Sebastopol, California, about an hour north of the Golden Gate Bridge, was the original ground zero against the smart meters. This area was in force, protesting. There were arrests. We were shutting down local PG&E offices, and this was back in the late 2010 and early 2011 when this really ramped up. And in fact, around 2011, there was a PG&E employee who was the director of the smart meter division for PG&E. And actually, I had received a letter from PG&E asking if I would participate in dinner meeting. And I RSVP'd and said, yes, Lou and I would be happy to attend. And they said, no, your husband can't come. We don't have enough seating.
Oh, please.
And it can only be you.
Right.
I did go, Jeff, and I attended a total of 3 meetings. They had various educators about the smart grid. They were showing us smart meters, explaining how they were going to work.
Do you think they could have shoehorned Lou in there somehow?
Oh, there's no question that he couldn't have been there. But he wasn't. And so what my main question at the first meeting was, is what would happen if tenants in buildings that property owners own are invited into a class action lawsuit because the illness is generated from all of the increased frequencies, and particularly since owners of properties were not given a choice at that time whether they wanted a smart meter or not. And they brought in an attorney, the PG&E attorney, at the second of the 3 meetings. They said that there was only an hour that he could be there. And he admitted during the first half an hour of his discussion that he really didn't know much about the smart meters. There was a tremendous amount of information that he still had to go over. He spent a half an hour really saying nothing. And I was getting irritated looking at the clock because I realized I needed to get my question answered and asked and answered. So I held up a piece of paper and I said, "Excuse me, but let's just say, for example, that this is a summons that as the property owner of an apartment, we were given, and we're now invited to participate in expending our funds in a class action lawsuit because the tenants are claiming they are now ill. How is PG&E going to participate in the support of a lawsuit in these circumstances?" And he said PG&E would not be liable or responsible in any way, that they were mandated by the California Public Utility Commission. And it was around that period of time that the smart meter director, who was in attendance at the 3 meetings that I participated in, was caught trying to impersonate his identity and get into a Google group that we were all in, communicating about the smart meters, etc. And he was caught, again, lying about his identity. And this ensued in litigation, and ultimately there was a fine. He was fired, and it became quite a several-year lawsuit with PG&E. And I believe, as I recall, it was about a $400,000 lawsuit that ended up getting paid by PG&E. And during that period of time, I and others received phone calls from the San Francisco Chronicle asking how it felt to be spied on by our utility company. And that was just shortly after my arrest. I was arrested on 1/11/11, and I told the Chronicle that this did not surprise me that PG&E was spying on their customers, because that's exactly what the smart meters were doing. And I would not have expected anything short of their behavior, because not only are they spying, they're attaching pulsed microwave radiation frequencies on our homes in anticipation of further enhancement with all of the RFID chipped appliances and then the home area network.
Sure.
That we are all fried in our homes.
Right.
Needless to say, time went on. Of course, the entire push against smart meters got out of California, fortunately, and other states have been fighting it as well. What we did discover is that the entire opt-out was all part of a psychological maneuver to throw the activists against the smart meters off course, and for those that were outspoken to believe that they were being listened to. And the opt-outs were and always were only an appeasement plan to give people the illusion.
Wow. You hear how evil this is, that this plan that she's saying here?
That the utilities worked for them and that the CPUC worked for us as well.
Right. We
actually found a document out of the sociology department out of Vanderbilt University that we have on the homepage of stopthecrime.net that talks about how they would socially engineer the utility companies in accepting the smart grid. So having that been said, again, this is around now August of 2011. PG&E has since come under fire on many issues, and certainly the fact that they've been in collusion with the California Public Utility Commission. So what happened in order to create the illusion that the California Public Utility Commission actually regulated the utilities, which they don't, it's all Rothschild. They slapped PG&E on the hand and required a document release. Well, there was a large document release, as I recall, about 7 or so months ago, and different members in this group, this EMF safety network group that I'm a part of, we're going through these documents that were released by PG&E. And I'm going to read to the audience a document release, and it is extremely disturbing with that background in mind of what I said about everything starting here, literally in Sebastopol, California. Again,
wonder why they picked Sebastopol.
That was, again, ground zero for the anti-smart meter movement.
Okay, do you hear what she's saying? The reason Sebastopol was chosen is because it was the most anti-smart meter locale in California. We would have called that truly woke back then, right? Truly awoke. But let's continue.
That was really day one of the...
Okay, but that's a good thing. Now, are they coming back and trying to punish Sebastopol?
Well, I'm going to read these emails, and you and the listeners can make out of this what you would like. And here we go. First, I'm going to just say that these emails were dated in August of 2011. There are only two emails. One is from the California Public Utility Commission going to PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric. And again, you can type in PG&E followed by Rothschild, and you will see that PG&E is Rothschild.
It's hard to believe. It's amazing. They're just in everything.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, didn't we just read that?
So here's what's important to understand about these two emails. First of all, there were a total of 6 people involved in the emails, not just the 2 people that were communicating back and forth, but the 4 people that were copied in the email exchange.
Right.
And the people that were copied, here's an idea of who these people were. First of all, the subject of the email exchange was space weather risks. And the executive director of the CPUC was copied, the vice president of regulatory affairs, the CPUC attorney, and the interim director at the CPUC. And then, of course, the 2 people that corresponded directly and copied those 4 people. Here's the first email, again dated August of 2011. This is from the CPUC to PG&E. I assume you're assembling a high-level task force of washed up and never were, yet somehow movie star handsome former astronauts to handle PG&E's response to the upcoming damaging space weather. Also, please dribble out one at a time over the next few months all internal memos, lawsuits, PowerPoint presentations, and officer cover-up directives in which PG&E is repeatedly warned about damaging space weather and chooses to do nothing, then has its lawyers blame its customers, a.k.a. Earthlings, for an adverse consequences resulting. Now, keep in mind, PG&E is involved in weather modification. In fact, I was personally on the 16th floor of the PG&E buildings in San Francisco, where they monitor the weather, and they have pulled permits to inject cloud seeding and, of course, more here in Northern California. Here's the second email now in response to that email I just wrote that was from the CPUC to PG&E. Now, this is only within about 10 minutes.
Can you talk a bit louder, Deborah? I think we're getting a little low. There we go. Now we're there. Yeah.
I mean, dude, your voice is booming. Can you turn down some? She's sounding just fine.
This is only about a 10-minute delay before there's an answer back from the CPUC email from PG&E. This is now from PG&E. Just a reminder, we are the first to propose a solar generator in space that will beam RF waves down to a receptor site and convert it to DC current. We have changed our receptor site from the Mojave Desert to Sebastopol, California. Now, this is a very alarming. I sent this email exchange to some higher-ups, and I received some responses to this email and what they believe is meant. And this is the first comment response to this email exchange. I consulted with a top expert, a man who was a high official in an American electronics company with a classified job and deep knowledge about these matters. I have been able to come up with the following. This system is set of orbital sun collectors, which will concentrate sunlight and convert it to microwaves and send it down to a station to generate power.
All right, I'm not trying to be rude, but get the wax out of your ears. I'm trying to say it nicely. Wake the heck up. Listen to her say that again. No one talks about this. I always wonder why no one seems to understand what she said in this sentence. Okay.
To microwaves and send it down to a station to generate.
Now listen. Remember, she was talking about energy, fires. Well, she will be talking about fires. Now she's bringing in microwaves, okay? But she's telling you how it's done.
Waves down to a receptor site.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
this is only about a 10-minute delay before there's an answer back from the CPUC email from PG&E. This is now from PG&E. Just a reminder, we are the first to propose a solar generator in space that will beam RF waves down to a receptor site and convert it to DC current. We have changed our receptor site from the Mojave Desert to Sebastopol, California. Now, this is a very alarming. I sent this email exchange to some higher-ups, and I received some responses to this email and what they believe is meant. And this is the first comment response to this email exchange. I consulted with a top expert, a man who was a high official in an American electronics company with a classified job and deep knowledge about these matters. I have been able to come up with the following. This system is set of orbital sun collectors, which will concentrate sunlight and convert it to microwaves and send it down to a station to generate power. It, however, could be used by aiming to any target below within a certain radius to completely destroy all human life slowly in a large city. Very dangerous, unneeded means of generating power now that we have so many free energy means available. Obviously, most energy providers are associated with and under the control of the U.S. government and Intel. Here's the second comment to this email exchange. I agree with your assessment. This email exchange dated 2/11 is indeed very disturbing. I submit it is merely a wisp of the smoke from a recently fired gun, the visible tip of a very dangerous iceberg. I strongly suggest you immediately file a series of Freedom of Information Act requests targeting both the CPUC and PG&E in order to hopefully get a fuller picture of this complete iceberg and what has transpired concerning this to date.
Okay.
You, as a California resident, have every right to know what your public utilities are doing with your rate dollars. As you know, beamed microwave radio frequencies from space are the patented technique for manipulating the Earth's jet streams in order to turn selectively modified weather patterns worldwide.
You know I can't let that one go by without stopping. All right. Let's back that one up again.
Earth's jet streams in order
Oh.
iceberg and what has transpired concerning this to date.
Okay, now listen what she's going to say. It's,
Okay.
You, as a California resident, have every right to know what your public utilities are doing with your rate dollars. As you know, beamed microwave radio frequencies from space are the patented technique for manipulating the Earth's jet streams.
Hello. That one. You see what she's saying? You see what she's saying there?
In order to turn selectively modified weather patterns worldwide. Climate change is genuine. However, I submit it is simply not the result of excessive human carbon emission footprints as infamously claimed. The potential to generate electricity from beam RF waves is certainly a possibility with the existing technology, but I submit it is not the primary goal. I submit the necessary outer space RF generators are already in place and have been functional for at least a decade and a half. This is a very interesting trail of damning breadcrumbs that needs to be followed up, in my opinion. Then I have another comment, and this is interesting. The attached emails claiming the beam RF waves to Sevastopol is obviously a joke shared among PG&E and PUC staff. The technology for this has not even been developed, financed, or
It
tested.
doesn't exist.
Oh, it does exist. That's the funny thing about... Okay, let's continue.
It doesn't exist. And here's a comment back to that. Sadly, the tech has long since been used. Space-based weapons in conjunction with the wireless networks, along with frequencies used to disperse crowds, etc., are old technologies. Most people are unaware just how advanced tech has become. 6 people were involved in these emails, PG&E and CPUC, and the tech is real. So joke or not, when someone yells fire, we must investigate, don't you think? And then there's attachments showing the involvement of PG&E with weather weapons, which they are heavily engaged. As you know, Rothschild owns Weather Central, and also the involvement of Rothschild and PG&E. So what we had was an obvious targeting to incapacitate the initial group against the smart meters, because certainly when we read the documents about the successes of the deployment of the smart grid worldwide, California is mentioned repeatedly as being the troublemaking state for the refusal of smart meters initially. So I just want everyone that is listening to understand the degree and the types of weapons, because, Jeff, you certainly experienced the likelihood of weapons while you were in your vehicle, and they use these weapons on cities and crowd disbursement, and they can increase anger. They can cause all kinds of physical problems that people normally would not.
Absolutely physical and emotional problems as well. We have to keep in mind that we are electrical beings, and there's a frequency for damn near everything. So if they blast you with it, you're going to get that kind of a response.
That's exactly right.
If it's go to sleep time, we just take a half second, and your car is out of control. And I'm not saying that's what happened. I don't know. I don't like to be dramatic about things, but it's certainly a possibility.
Well, that's absolutely right. Now, I just wanted to share with the listeners on Ronnie Kilde's behalf, because she was murdered, and she spent many years getting out the information of targeted individuals, those people that are targeted with electromagnetic weapons, harassed, traumatized, and tortured. Generally, their employment is eliminated. They are injured constantly. They're in pain. They suffer. And this is a real reality globally. And tracking teams and ground area networks literally focus in on individuals. And it's like an SS ground mafia team, a network. It's massive. It's unbelievably unreal, which is why people are not understanding what's happening. But I'm just going to read a little bit of a paper that Ronnie wrote in December of 2000. And she talked about Musada, the father of the Information Society. And he stated his concerns in 1980 that our liberty is threatened, an Orwellian style, by cybernetic technology totally unknown to most people. This technology links the brains of people via implanted microchips to satellites controlled by ground-based supercomputers. The first brain implants were surgically inserted in 1974 in the state of Ohio. And I'll continue with this on the other side of the break, Jeff.
Very
and
good.
Then we'll get into some of the most current water news.
Okay, very good. Deborah Tavares and I will be right back in just a couple minutes. Glad you're along on this Thursday night, and we shall continue right after this. Okay, I'm back with Deborah and talking about things that most people would never believe, but they're all true. Okay, Deborah, go ahead.
Well, yes, Jeff. I'm reading, as I was saying in the beginning, a article that was written by Dr. Ronnie, R-A-U-N-I, Lena, L-E-E-N-A, Kilde, K-I-L-D-E. It was an MD. She was also the former chief medical officer of Finland. So I think people need to understand the clout that she had in Finland. And
chief medical officer of the country, the government of Finland.
That's correct.
All right.
And so it's important for everyone to listen. If you want to look up any of her articles, I would certainly encourage it, because she was a brilliant woman and gave her life to get this information out. So prior to the break, we were talking about the first brain implants that were surgically inserted in 1974 in the state of Ohio, of course, in the United States, and also in Stockholm, Sweden. Brain electrodes were inserted into the skulls of babies in 1946 without the knowledge of their parents. And in the 1950s and 60s, electrical implants were inserted into the brains of animals and humans, especially in the United States, during research into behavior modification and brain and body functioning, or mind control methods. And these were used in attempts to change human behavior and attitudes. Influencing brain function became an important goal of the military and intelligence services. So now we advance, we look back 30 years ago, brain implants even showed up in x-rays the size of 1 centimeter, and then subsequent implants shrunk to the size of a grain of rice. And many of you might have your animals chipped, because certainly here in California, if you rescue an animal, they are all RFID chipped. I even discovered, Jeff, when we were touring a fish hatchery, that the little baby salmons, a percentage of those are chipped. And when I asked how do they pick up the signals during the migration of the fish...
That's hard to believe. I believe you, but I mean, they're pinning some of these tags in little fingerlings. The little babies.
Yeah. And when they release them, they're tracking and monitoring them. And I asked them, where are they picking up the signals on the migration of the fish with these tracking devices? And this is in the instance of the Russian River, which is a river that runs fairly close to Bohemian Grove on out to the Pacific Ocean here in Sonoma County. And I was told that they're putting devices on either side of the banks. They're hidden. where they can monitor the fish. Well, I think it's important for everyone to understand the degree of the reality that we have a de facto government structure, and we, in fact, are the enemy. I think we can now realize that. I certainly hope people are starting to realize that. I have known through my life people that have attempted to escape out of European countries during war, and typical routes are through waterways and streams and culverts, etc. In the case of Cuba, people would attempt to swim from Cuba to Guantanamo. Little did they know they would not have wanted to have been successful in going to Guantanamo, but few made it. But having said that, waterways were a very common method of escape. And it's interesting that with the increasing intention and the fact that many people are likely RFID chipped unwittingly, they just don't know it. In fact, this was certainly discussed back during the time of John Glenn, and he was talking about the fact that in January of 1997 there was an initiative with U.S. Senator John Glenn about the dangers of radiating civilian populations and targeting people's brain function with electromagnetic fields and beams from helicopters and airplanes and satellites, even from parked vans, neighboring houses, telephone poles, electrical appliances, mobile phones, TV, radio, etc., is all part of the radiation problem that we all face. So when we look at the expansive mind control network that has been set up over many, 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 many decades, and that has been a goal, total mind control, and we look at some of the documents, Jeff, that we have posted on our website. In fact, one of the documents that is really important for everyone to take a look at, it's on the home page, but you can also type it in the search bar at the top of stopthecrime.net, Aquarius Operations Briefing. And this was actually given to us through Dr. Preston James. And it talks about the planned chemical sedation of the population and then the use of radio microwave frequencies for mass mind control. And it specifically talks about how over many, many years we would be poisoned with chemicals. There would be a polypharmaceutical saturation, and that's already been achieved. And that's been ongoing for the past 20 years. And then there would be the introduction and exposure to everyday use of public water supplies that are poisoned and airborne pollutants. In other words, the full array of the poisons that we've already been seriously saturated with. And then
tell me where she's lying. Just tell me where she's lying.
How the increased use of frequencies would work in tandem with the saturation levels of the poison. And it would literally turn a person into an assassin. It would take over their mind. Again, this is the Aquarius Operations Briefing. It's about a 50-page document. The last few pages shows cell phone towers and other methods in which these frequencies would be used upon the population. But Ronnie Kildee talked about how today's microchips operate by means of low-frequency radio waves that target people.
Yep.
And with the help of satellites, the implanted person can be tracked anywhere on the globe. I can tell you, Jeff, right now, many people are buying frequency equipment. They can be as much as $20 up to $300.
What do you mean frequency equipment?
Well, you run it over your body, and it will literally
it's a
alert
reader.
You whether you've been biomedically implanted.
Got it. Yeah.
Yes. That's going to become something rather important for
I'm sure it
people
will.
to
Yeah.
obtain. I hear us going into
I
a
hear
break.
music too. Hold
And then
on.
I want to get into the water situation quickly.
All right, very good. Stand by. We'll be right back. Okay, and we're back with Deborah. All right, Deborah, talk to us about water.
Well, yes, Jeff, actually, this is an action alert request for all listeners, and request to pass this information out as far and wide as everyone that is listening and beyond is able to. We run a website entitled primarywater.org, and that links to primary water experts as well. But on primarywater.org, we have half-page double-sided flyers that everyone can download and disperse. But of course, everyone needs to understand first what primary water is. Because of primary water, we do not have a water shortage. Water is renewable. And there are incredible documents that all of you can get to on primarywater.org. Understand that we have been deceived on how water and where water really comes from. There's an excellent YouTube up. It's entitled Primary Water Explained. Primary Water Explained. It's important to understand that the Earth is the water planet. And primary water is good news, and it will provide us with all the water we need. And we're being really hit with media psyops and a massive campaign.
Well, the government has a huge budget to hire people to work for the internet, to work the media, you name it, and they're working it all the time.
They certainly do. Now, I want to just go over some of the new rules here in California, and by far they're more than I've got time to go over right this moment. But one of the ones that should be extremely worrisome for everyone is this. Again, these are new rules. The state is going to be directing state departments to provide temporary relocation assistance to families who need to move from homes where domestic wells have run dry to housing with running water. Now, this is why understanding where water comes from is essential, because we have many overpumped groundwater basins, and some of the shallow wells are overpumped and they are running dry. However, given time and reduced pumping, they would likely refill. Mm-hmm. And the groundwater basins could be recharged much more expeditiously if primary water wells were drilled and that water was allowed to recharge these over areas like the San Joaquin Valley. And this is essential for everyone to know. Every bit of land mass is floating on water, and that's why it's so important to watch the YouTube Primary Water Explained and go to primarywater.org for more information. But I want to just go over a couple of the recent media psyops campaigns that have just come out in the last couple of days. Our Governor Brown has urged fines up to $10,000 for water waste during this California drought. Now, of course, most of us know the drought is intentionally created. But Brown announced this past Thursday or Tuesday that they're going to be granting new enforcement powers to local agencies in California's ongoing drought, including penalties.
What do you mean when you say local agencies? And talk a bit louder again if you can.
Yes, they're going to be granting enforcement powers to local
what
agencies.
Local agencies?
Now, it does not enumerate, but I would be imagining we're talking about the water agencies, we're talking about city agencies.
Your friendly water meter reader, while there's still any around?
Well, certainly many people do not yet have smart meters on their water, but they will be sending Stasi groups around. This has been going on now for a while in some areas, where good want-to-be neighbors will report on other neighbors if they see what appears to be overuse of water. But it goes on to say that the governor's office said that legislation proposed by Brown would let public agencies deputize staff to issue water-related citations among other measures. Yeah. And you might think this is just another installment in a long enterprise to live with changing climate and with drought and uncertain duration, Brown said. So the fines are a water increase. Easier to blame people for overuse than to try to push and get fines approved. So this is a water increase. They're making certainly the original conversation of $500 fines seem rather tolerable when you now hear $10,000 water fines. So this is just a psychological adjustment to, of course, accept the $500 fine. I also want to point out that most recently, too, just a day or so ago, Governor Brown also increased the California's greenhouse gas emission targets, and they're getting tougher. And my comment on this, of course, is climate change policies are creating new global markets, and it's based upon greed and false science.
Oh, you bet. Sure.
Of concealing the real cause of climate change. And, of course, we know, most people know that the government, corporations, and militaries and international bankers control the weather and have weaponized weather to target, create fear, and drive relocation of populations into resilient cities. Resilient cities, interestingly enough, Jeff, were pioneered by the Rockefeller Foundation, and they are intended to help communities absorb shock and better respond emotionally to destruction and death. Resilient cities are engaged in reducing CO2 emissions.
Resilient cities, boy. You drive into a town, there'll be a big billboard there. This is a resilient city. It used to say this is a tree city. Now it'll say it's a resilient city.
Well, that's true, and the resilient cities are engaged in reducing CO2 emissions and identifying people that are not trauma prepared. So resilient cities are about making and helping people emotionally and physically adopt and adapt to the shocks and trauma of all the weaponization that we're facing.
It's crazy.
It is.
Everybody who breathes should be declared a public enemy and taxed because they spew carbon dioxide. I mean, it's all nuts.
Well, it is, and because it's getting more nuts by the minute, it's important for everyone that's listening to take some action. And
what can they do? No, seriously, what can they really do? If they send off an email, the delete key. Goodbye. If they fax, the trash can.
Well,
if they mail...
I think, Jeff, what we have to do is empower people to the knowledge of water. Certainly because we cannot live without water. And whether it serves us in ultimately benefiting by getting to it, just the knowing that the water science is being withheld from us, just like petroleum. We were always told that petroleum is a fossil fuel. And we know now that that was just all part of what Rockefeller did to create more profits with the illusion of a finite resource. And as we like to say, petroleum never came from dead dinosaurs. So just as water is now the new peak oil, it's now the new peak water, and that's not true. Mm-hmm. And while those of us that understand this are still alive, we must spread this information far, far and wide, because the water surfaces many places all over the planet in hot and cold springs. In fact, there's a wonderful photograph on the primarywater.org website of a geyser called Fly Geyser, F-L-Y Geyser, and it's on private property in Nevada. And it was actually a well that was dug about 100 years ago, and they hit water that was about 200 degrees. They capped it, and the cap eroded over time, and the water just has been spewing out consistently ever since. It's a geyser called Fly Geyser. It's quite beautiful, and the landowner at the time drilled in another location and hit water, not hot water. But right now, the governor in California, just a couple of days ago, has set new cuts for us to meet the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. He's cutting emissions to 40% below 1990 levels by 2030. The previous goals, which were set during Schwarzenegger's administration, were to reach 1990 levels by 2020, and then 80% below the standard by 2050. So let me repeat this. We must reduce greenhouse gas emissions here in California 40% below 1990 levels by 2030. Now, it's very important to understand where they're really going. And I have a YouTube up and out. They're aiming for 0. And, Jeff, I don't have time in the next couple of minutes that we have left, but I believe I am going to be joining you tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
And tomorrow evening, I am going to break a story that few have heard about new cities being planned here.
Now this is very interesting.
Yeah.
They've got plans they never let out of the bag, and they're big plans.
And I'm also going to be talking about the plans to burn up Northern California. So
right.
I'm looking forward to joining you tomorrow night. Take care, and
Thank you.
I'll be talking with you tomorrow evening. And, of course, everyone can join me on my show, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, Monday through Friday on the RINS Radio Network. Thank you
Well
so
said.
much, Jeff.
Thank you, Deborah. Say hi to
Thank
Lou.
you.
Okay.
I will. Thank you.
All right, that's our program tonight. Yours truly is going to try and rest, and we will be back tomorrow night. You take care. Okay, and let's get right back to it. Hour number 2 tonight. That music is not working. It sounds mucky, muddy, doesn't sound clear and sharp for some reason. We're going to have to see if we can get a better version of that. Latest from the California drought, yeah, it's still there, and it's warming up, and it's going to be even worse this summer. That's the word. California's drought is making its dying inland sea even more toxic now. The Salton Sea. Many of you know about the Salton Sea. So the ramifications of the created drought are extraordinary, and they're not going to slow down. They're going to continue to compound and become worse and worse. But that's the plan. That is the plan. My personal feeling is the drought was started as maybe an unnecessary or accidental or unfortunate or undesired byproduct of stopping radiation from coming in here from Fukushima and the rainstorms, the weather systems in the wintertime, so they blocked them rather than have the storm fronts come in and dump radiation all over the place. If you remember back, the first year or so, UC Berkeley was doing routine evaluations of water, of plant life, all kinds of things, and coming back with an upward graph every time, meaning the bioaccumulative aspects and factors involved with Fukushima radiation were playing out in the research being done. So we have enormous problems, that's all I can say. Now, it looks like this summer is going to be the long, hot summer, or the long, hot, flaming summer in California. There's a lot going on. Deborah Tavares is back tonight because she's got so much information, and we had the time, so I thought I'd give her a chance to bring that forward. And are you there, Deborah?
Yes, thank you very much for having me on, particularly on May Day, because for many, they're celebrating traditional springtime festivals.
Right.
I know that children are enjoying the May Day dance, and it's a lovely day also in which there's internationally honoring of workers. But May Day also has another meaning, and it's an emergency procedure. It's a word used internationally as a distress signal.
Help.
So this is May Day, and this is a distress notification. I'm going to be talking about the plan to burn up Northern California. And what do I mean by that? Well, Jeff, we have gotten a hold of information out of the Mendocino County Board of Supervisors. And I'm going to go over this because people will understand what is occurring here are likely similar tactics that are happening in other states as well.
How did you get the data, Deborah?
Well, I'm involved in a rural volunteer fire department advisory meeting right now here in Northern California. in that the fire departments are going to be squeezed out and consolidated in the rural areas, which here, of course, and everywhere else, because of the weaponized policies of climate change, are reducing emergency services in areas that are considered sprawl. And country and rural areas are considered sprawl. So with that in mind...
why are they being reduced? It doesn't mean there's not a demand or a desire for them, does it?
Of course not. They're being reduced for a myriad of reasons. And it's really quite sinister, because what we're seeing is collectively the fire departments across the state having all of the same problems. Now, this was all planned. Generally, the fire chief's concerns, and we're talking about many fire zones, lack of funds, increasing laws and regulations that are being imposed upon them, diminishing younger firefighters. In other words, they're not getting the younger volunteer forces that they had been in the past, and costs for emergency calls are not being covered, as well as emergency aid outside taxing districts. And so they have these task force workshops that are being held across the country now for fire departments, with the illusion that they're going to help them be more efficient, run more effectively, and look at their equipment. Now, what is really behind the scenes here are several things. First of all, here in Sonoma County, our fire departments are largely funded and only funded by property taxes, and of course, pancake breakfast. We heard in these meetings, Jeff...
These are county property taxes.
Yeah, well, these are property taxes in general that go, a certain amount go to the fire department.
Right.
But they are also funding themselves to fill fuel to operate their equipment by having pancake breakfast and so forth. And they make some decent money on pancake breakfast, but it's pretty ironic that emergency services should have to have all of these kinds of pancake breakfast and this kind of thing in order to fill their engines with gas. Having said that,
But we have to spend our money on more worthy things like free top-flight medical care for illegal aliens and housing and education and things like that. Those are far more important uses of our money.
Well, another aspect that the fire departments are all facing is that the emergency aid outside of the taxing districts. What that means here in Sonoma County, where we are touting ourselves as a go-to destination for people all over the world because of the wine country and being nearby San Francisco. So with all the visitors that are coming and visiting the Rothschild predominantly owned area that we are in, Sonoma County, there are many accidents, and they have to be addressed. Well, what has been occurring is that the county and cities have been taking over large swaths of private property, putting them into open space and preserves, and also into parks where they fall out of the property tax base. So the fire departments are having to serve different types of calls in areas where there is no tax being collected. So the funds have diminished greatly. The fire departments are working on a shoestring, doing an amazing job with what they're doing. But the plans that are involved here in these meetings, an illusion that the fire departments are going to be considered having more value, is based on this. And this was said at one of the fire meetings, and I would certainly, suggest everyone understand this.
Who said it?
I looked it up on the internet. One of the main fire chiefs that was put in position and has only been in the county for a year, that has rotated to other counties here in Northern California, said that I asked, what is the end goal of a year and a half worth of monthly meetings when we know that it's all the Delphi technique? We know that the agenda has already been cast. What they're going to do with the fire departments has already been laid out, and this is what we were told. We needed to look up incremental regional consolidation. Incremental.
Incremental regional consolidation. Did he look at you like you were crazy when you said that to him?
He said
or
that
did he
to us.
get it? Oh,
said
he got.
that
He was
to
already
us.
in the loop. Good.
He's in there to cleverly deceive the fire chiefs in the area.
Gotcha.
Because what they know is that in order to maintain services in the rural areas, again, unsustainable areas that are considered sprawl, is a massive increase in property taxes for those that are still paying property taxes. So that is where we heard about what I'm going to tell the listeners right now, Jeff. Again, I prefaced it as the plan to burn up Northern California.
Sure.
And that's exactly what it is. And everybody needs to pay close attention. And you need to research this in your area as well. Because we have documentation. We have documentation of the perpetrators as well. And that the Board of Supervisors in this area rejected the resolution that was proposed because of big bucks that were behind this plot. So I'm going to fill in what I just said so that everyone understands. This is in Mendocino County, Humboldt County, and...
Okay, sorry to stop it, but I always like to stop and call your attention to very important parts. So here we're getting to another important point. So she's going to tell you where, and this Mendocino, Humboldt County are extremely important parts of California, and think about why, okay?
Because of big bucks that were behind this plot. So I'm going to fill in what I just said so that everyone understands. This is in Mendocino County, Humboldt County, and the northern part of Sonoma County here in Northern California. After request from concerned citizens and fire agencies, fire danger presented by the dead standing timber in forest land and the request of commercial timber companies to voluntarily cease the practice of leaving dead trees standing. So what has been happening? There has been a private timber company that is the Fisher family out of San Francisco, the Gap family. They have had control of 438,000 acres of forestry. Their company is called Mendocino and Humboldt Redwood Companies. What they have been doing is slashing and gashing the trunks on the tan oak trees and other brush and squirting herbicides into these gashes.
Oh, wait a sec. Hold on. Now, who's doing this? This is disgusting.
Well,
who's doing
it's
this?
Unregulated, and it is a timber company that has the illusion. They tell everybody environmentally, leaving the dead standing trees is better for the forest. So I'm going to just continue with this because it's hard to believe the sense that this is unregulated.
And they've done this here in Colorado, and this is the reason that there's all the fires. Okay, all the fires, because all of that underbrush is highly flammable. It's basically kindling, and it's allowed to stand now. And now you have extreme fires that just blow up. Okay, and it often happens that they time this with wind season. So then that stuff gets going and the wind blows and it's just raging. And this is your environmentally green conspiracy here.
Mm-hmm.
So what has again been happening is the fire departments have been opposing the squirting and gashing of poison to kill the trees and then leaving the trees to die. And also the toxic herbicides degrade into the soil. And what of course, these plans don't make any sense at all. So when you see something like this on the County Board of Supervisors' agenda, we're generally compelled to look into it further.
I would hope.
We have.
Yeah.
So the purpose of gashing, slashing, and killing millions and millions of tan oaks and other shrubs is to eliminate the canopy of these oaks to provide further growth for the valuable conifers, the redwoods and the Douglas fir.
So, okay, hold on. If you go through Northern California, you will look into the end of foothills adjacent to whatever road you're on, and you'll see a mixture, usually of conifers and oak trees. And there are 1,000 different kinds of oak trees. Now, you're talking about that kind of a forest, which is not heavily laden with conifers, but is more of a mixture. And they're going in there, and they're cutting, slashing, and poisoning and killing the oak tree portion of that forest, creating catastrophic dead tree fuel in a forest, which will burn the whole thing up in a hot minute.
That's
Is
right.
that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And what has happened is that the fire chiefs up in those areas and CAL FIRE are trying to get the county to take action and to stop this practice. And I'm going to go over some of the resolutions that were presented that were denied by the Mendocino County Board of Supervisors. I think anybody that hears this is going to be really stunned.
Yeah, Deborah, let me ask another question, please. This bothers me because I look at hillsides like this often. Whose idea was this, and why are they doing it again? Is that your big punchline here down the road? I don't want to spoil it, but I don't get it. Why kill trees in a mixed species forest? It makes no sense to me. I don't get it.
Well, again, they state the purpose is to eliminate the canopies that the oak trees infringe upon the ability for the conifers to get the sunlight necessary for growth. So in order for the more valuable logging of conifers and fir, they're eliminating the tan oaks and other shrubbery. And they have used thousands of gallons of herbicides to kill these trees. And the fire chief up there said that there is an average of about 1 million trees that are killed on an annual basis since 2012.
This is done by hand?
I'm not certain of the process. I would imagine to gash and squirt,
they'd have to.
And squirt. It would have to be done by hand.
They don't have drones to do that yet. I mean, they must have crews out there that just work enormous areas.
Well, this is, again, a private timber and logging company that's owned by the Fisher family, the Gap family. And they are prevailing over the concerns of the residents and the fire chiefs and CAL FIRE up in this northern area of California. And so what we see, and we have been told, that the fire chiefs are anticipating this year to be one of the worst fire seasons they've ever had to potentially face. They say because of the reduction of ground moisture, the reduction of fuel moisture, and dependent on the ambient humidity, they're going to be fighting massive fires. And, of course, with these toxins and herbicides that they're using, which do include Roundup, by the way, these firefighters are breathing all of these poisons. So for all of the listeners, you need to look in your areas. Look at the privately owned timber companies. Do some research as to who these companies are, because we discovered that the Fisher family has affiliation with giving big bucks to climate policies. And, of course, we know that these are the climate policies are weaponized policies of mass destruction because it's all based on falsified science. So any grants that are coming out of this, the family donations, which they donate hundreds of thousands of dollars on an annual basis to climate change programs, and they have a organization called the Pisces organization. This family is Luciferian, and they're going against what the fire chiefs in that area are requesting and what the neighbors are requesting. And this is diabolical. And here is one of the letters that was going back and forth from the county, and this is just a portion of one of these letters. They talk about the unmanaged tan oak can pose a challenge to forests whose wish to rebalance the forest towards redwood production. Due to bottom-line cost analysis, a method known as hack and squirt is locally employed to kill off the unwanted species by hacking into the tree trunk and injecting poison. The herbicide use is outside the scope of fire concern, but I've come to understand that the practice involves leaving the dead trees standing. Attached is an aerial photograph showing us just how many dead trees are now standing. I have raised concern to the Mendocino County Board of Supervisors and CAL FIRE about the predominantly dead forest impacting fire risk. But oddly, most responses have been of the form, your area is already a high fire risk, and dead trees burn the same as live trees, end quote. The fire chief says, in my experience, dead, seasoned wood burns more efficiently than green wood. And intentionally dead forest in decay is a fabrication of fuel ladders, a pattern of vegetation that allows a fire to climb up from the forest floor into the tree canopy, where it is more challenging to suppress. Now, they went on to talk about how they focused on trees killed using the hack and squirt method and the exact poison, which they listed the poisons, the name of some of these poisons. The County Board of Supervisors had a resolution to consider at this meeting, and the resolution in and of itself speaks largely, because this resolution says as follows: whereas the 2005 CAL FIRE Community Wildfire Prevention Plan, the last such plan written, this was in 2005, designated much of the county as a risk for wildfires, and whereas Mendocino County has approximately 1 million acres of commercial forest land, and whereas such standing dead hardwoods present a fire danger, threatening the health and safety of the county residents, and whereas there is current regulation of practices of leaving intentionally killed hardwoods standing, nor are there any requirements that such trees be downed and or removed to reduce fire danger. And whereas the forest management practice continues despite the protests of many residents who would be most immediately affected by any resulting wildfire. Whereas the Board of Supervisors is extremely concerned about the fire hazard presented by dead standing trees. Then they said, now therefore be it resolved that the County Board of Supervisors request that the commercial timber companies on a voluntary basis immediately cease the practice of leaving intentionally killed trees standing on their property pending the completion of an independent fire danger analysis for a period not to exceed 6 months from this date. This resolution was not approved, Jeff. They denied it.
Why not?
It's standing as it is, dead trees, and they're of course killing the trees every single day. And the fire department.
It's hard to believe. I didn't know anything about this.
Well, this is why it's important to bring this information to the forefront, because we have large conglomerates under the guise of environmentalism that is and are threatening the livability of people in the rural areas. This is definitely a way in which to reduce the population in the rural areas.
Question. There's so much, they're making such an abundance of fuel for potential future fires that nobody will have a chance. This is an enormous issue. Those trees should be taken out of there. The hardwood should be used. I don't know if it can be now that it's poisoned and toxic, but there's a demand for oak. I don't get it. And if you do
Well-
kill off the oaks, that doesn't necessarily guarantee that the conifers are going to be able to get up through them.
Well, that's true, but I have
don't-
something even more interesting on behalf of the owner of the logging company or the timber company when
Okay.
we get to the other side of this break.
Very
I
good.
think you'll be stunned at this.
Well, I'm already sickened. Okay, back in just a minute. Hold on. Okay, welcome back. Having a massive die-off, a kill-off, a slaughter-off of oaks in Northern California, where the forests aren't so solidly full of conifers. You'll find always a mixture of evergreens and the deciduous trees like the oaks, and they're killing them. This is a huge story. I don't understand. And then they're leaving the dead trees there as fuel for fires, which is what they don't want to do. So
It's exactly what they do want to do, Jeff. That is.
Well, I understand. I got it. But, I mean, that's theoretically what you don't want to do, but that's what they're doing.
Well, that's exactly right. And people need to understand when they see agenda items again on County Board of Supervisors agendas, you need to look into this. Again, the Fisher family is out of San Francisco. They're the Gap family, and they have a foundation called Pisces, Pisces, and they donate large sums of money, and they give grants to climate and energy funding mechanisms. This is a very evil group of people that are in control now of 438,000 acres of trees in Northern California. Now, here's what was said, and this is just outrageous. This is what the applicant, the Mendocino Redwood Company, had offered. And this is the fire chief, trying to be nice. He said, I cannot fault the applicant. Best I can tell, they operate in compliance with applicable law and work in an environment of ever-increasing and arguably onerous regulatory creep. In response to the questions I have raised, they've even stepped forward to brainstorm evacuation routes, adding credence to public concern in a desperate need of remedy.
Well, there it is.
There it is. So he goes on, the fire chief also goes on to say this. I'm also not ready to place culpability in the hands of the state regulators. It appears they are diligently following process. Unfortunately, the process as implemented seems to omit consideration for public safety, perhaps because forest management methods have outpaced legislative action. So what we have here is complete disregard for anyone who lives in the rural land. And this is an intentional depopulation of the area along the northern coast of California. Intentional. So I also want to talk about the reaction of those that attended the meeting. It was outrageous. Because the meeting was scheduled at the county in Mendocino between 1:30 and 3. But here's a comment that one of the attendees wrote. The worst part of it all was making everyone wait for such a very long time before finally allowing the public to comment on the dead tree issue. The schedule for the whole event was 1:30 to 3, but public comment didn't end up beginning until after 4. Many people ended up leaving before they could speak. Hear what others had to say on the subject. Instead of making an attempt to adjust or accommodate the big turnout of motivated citizens, or even offer a simple acknowledgement of the inconvenience to all who came and patiently waited, the board supervisors acted as though they really didn't want to hear from the public, and they purposely stretched and delayed out as long as possible, hoping to wear the people down and out. it became obvious that the masses and their voices were not very welcome in the chamber. And the meeting did not end until 7 p.m. when they killed the resolution. So here you had a meeting anticipated to calendar between 1:30 and 3, not ending until 7 p.m. Now, this is what I talk about frequently. The county boards of supervisors, the cities are all incorporated. They create the illusion with the Delphi technique as presented by the Rand Corporation that people have their say. That's why people are only given 3 minutes, and they're not. Their voices
Folks,
are not heard.
wherever you are all across the country, you're probably running into the same offensive weapons to shut you down.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to throw this in right now because I mentioned the Rand Corporation, and this is something that I'm just investigating that I just discovered. And it's from the Rand Corporation's website. It's entitled Psychological Operations by Another Name is Sweeter. The Department of Defense has decided to change the name of military psychological operations, PSYOP, and it is a good thing. Make assertions despite concerns about the name change raised by others in Small Wars Journal. That should be an interesting
What's the new name?
The new name is, the acronym is MISO, M-I-S-O, and that means Military Information Support Operation.
That's a PSYOP now.
Yes, it is. And the reason that they're doing this is the psychological operations are no more than messages and broadcasts aimed at changing the opinions and attitudes or behavior of foreign countries, officials, or troops. And they have come to have a sinister connotation in the minds of U.S. citizens and policymakers.
I wonder why.
Yes. The very term PSYOP summons dark thoughts of mind control, lasers, dastardly propaganda, or deception. Well, the Rand Corporation, again, has created the Delphi, or part of the extension from the Tavistock Institute, by bringing forth the Delphi technique, again, the method in which people are given the illusion that meetings are for them. They're not. And the Rand Corporation was also involved in the report from Iron Mountain. And I would recommend everyone watch the YouTube that we have up entitled Water Wars of Foreign Countries, Officials, or Troops. And they have...
All right, I just want to play this again. Listen, she's going to mention the Delphi technique.
Come to have a sinister connotation in the minds of U.S. citizens and policymakers.
I wonder why.
Yes. The very term PSYOP summons dark thoughts of mind control, lasers, dastardly propaganda, or deception. Well, the Rand Corporation, again, has created the Delphi, or part of the extension from the Tavistock Institute, by bringing forth the Delphi technique, again, the method in which people are given the illusion that meetings are for them. They're not. And the Rand Corporation was also involved in the report from Iron Mountain. And I would recommend everyone watch the YouTube that we have up entitled Water Wars, Stealing Water for Profit and Power. And understand that a large portion of the report from Iron Mountain was to determine the optimum levels of destruction of life, property, and natural resources on the possibility and desirability of peace. Now, this is where doublespeak and wordspeak comes in. This is where what they just said, murder, the optimum levels of murder, destruction of life, and the destruction of property and natural resources, and then they end all of that by the desirability of peace. We are being tricked by weaponization of language as well. And I have another story that I would like to disclose in the remaining time I have left. It's a huge story as well.
Okay.
And I'll talk about that when we get to the other side of this break.
We shall do it. Stand by. Okay, let's get right back. More bad news. I keep hearing these things, and have for the last several years, with Agenda 21 coming and poking its head around the corner first, and all these things following, and they get crazier and crazier. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Jeff. Yes. Again, this is May Day, and this is a May Day alert to listen to.
Okay, remember why we started this? Because we were discussing Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, and what that was. And I wanted to discuss some of this stuff here. So just reminding you why we're here.
The stories that are emerging that we're finding, and they're going to be emerging in your town and in your state and all over the world. We're in a warfare of attrition. It's a scientific warfare. And what that means is attrition warfare seeks victory through the accumulative destruction of the enemy's material assets by superior technologies. And it is the continuous, sustained attack and pressure. Another aspect of this warfare involves what smart cities represent. Smart cities are the corralling of the people into prison zones, because keeping in mind, smart cities are based upon the idea that we must reduce greenhouse gas emissions. That is fraudulent science. And yet policies are being written in all of our corrupt administrative levels, and all the people that we assume represent us whom do not, are putting forth policies of corrupt, falsified science and creating new global markets and corralling all of us at the same time. Now, why I'm bringing up smart cities is going to follow into this story, Jeff, because attrition warfare is a clever exploitation of the mobility of the enemy to strengthen and to reduce the enemy's strength and make their strength irrelevant. And what they mean by that is finding an enemy means locating the enemy in both time and space. Fixing the enemy is reducing his freedom of action, usually by immobilizing or suppressing their abilities. So this is what smart cities are. They're suppressing our abilities. They want us out of cars. They want us onto bikes, where we'll be highly positioned to face all of the psychotronic weapons and all of the other weaponized systems of economy, etc., in these cities. So while I just spoke about smart cities, I certainly want everyone to hear this story. It is unbelievably horrific. There is a new city being proposed on nearly 8,000 acres of land in the San Joaquin Valley area of Southern California, where they're shutting down farms and ranches in the illusion that there is scarce water resources, which, of course, if you've been listening to Jeff's program and my program 6 days a week at 6 p.m. on Rince's network, you know already that primary water is why we do not have a water shortage, and that water is renewable. And we ask you to go to primarywater.org and get this information out far and wide. But to this city is called, it's a smart city, and it's going to be a new smart city with new trains. And they're calling it the new ruralism. It's a new town proposed in Central California called Quay Valley. Quay. Quay.
What a weird name. That's the name of a water feature.
Well, it's actually after the controlling CEO of this. His name is Quay.
Really?
But yes, it is. And it's interesting because there's Pelosi connections. There's all kinds of connections with this soon-to-be new town. This town was put forth in about 2008, but because of the economy, it was waylaid.
What's the nearest town to it that's of any significance, so we get an idea?
What I want to say about this location is going to be stunning. First of all, it's important for everyone to realize we have been hearing about this $68 billion plus high-speed rail line in the Central Valley area of San Francisco. We're talking about Merced, San Jose, Merced, Fresno,
Sure.
Kings, Tulare, and Bakersfield on down to Los Angeles. Well, this train was approved, the cost, and they've started construction even though they don't have enough money at this time to build it out. But it will take people from Los Angeles to San Francisco in less than 3 hours with speeds of over 200 miles an hour. So what's extremely interesting is that this rail system goes past and nearby this Quay town, Quay town. So
projected population?
Well, the Quay town originally wanted to build 150,000 single-family homes, but in order to be more appealing to Kings County, they chopped it down to 25,000 homes with 75,000 people. Now, I'm not clear as to what they're planning to do, create modulars within these homes to house 3 people per home. That is unclear at this moment, but I found it very interesting. 25,000 homes with the forecast of 75,000 people, keeping in mind this train will now run through it. What is interesting is that the holdings company is called GROW, G-R-O-W, which means green, renewable, organic, and water. That is the holding company for this Quay Valley in the San Joaquin.
By the way, just for fun, excuse me, Quay means, I wonder if there's any irony here, a landing place, especially one of solid masonry or concrete, constructed along the edge of a body of water, like a wharf.
Well, I can only tell you that, again, the name in this instance, and there could be some irony, it could be a name that this
all right. Anyway, it's a weird
name. But having said that, here we are with the new train and a new town. And this new town, while it sounds wonderful, is very daunting and very frightening. And I'll go over a few aspects of what we can expect in this new town. First of all, they're rezoning current grazing land for housing and commercial development. And some of the land has been growing almonds and pistachios. Mm-hmm. So they're taking it out of farm production. And, of course, they claim that it's going to be a state-of-the-art sewer and water treatment system. And they will produce treated water to meet and exceed acceptable water quality standards. And they go on to say ongoing maintenance of these facilities will be provided through the Quay Valley Community Services District. In other words, they claim in this new city that not one drop of water will not be reclaimed water. It will all be reused water. What we have discovered in the documents in the YouTube that we put out, Water Wars, Stealing Water for Profit and Power, that the mega banksters will increase their revenue enormously by the billions and billions of dollars globally by water treatment plants and desalinization, which is unnecessary. They're only treating the secondary water cycle, the toxic water, from the rain and snowmelt, when in fact we have primary water that comes up from the mantle of the earth and is created continuously. But I wanted to go into more of the features of this huge development. It's going to have retail stores. It's going to have schools for education, entertainment, and hospitality features.
Boy, I want to live there.
Yes, and I know that you'll be the first one to purchase one of these relocation camp homes.
The San Joaquin Valley, where it's 110 for about 2 months of the year, right?
Well, that's correct. And plus all of the wind with blowing the dust. Many people are very sick there now because of the very toxic treatment with fertilizers in that area. But they're going to have 2,000 acres of retail and entertainment.
No, please.
And they're going to have a Serengeti African safari experience, complete with animals, provided by the San Diego Zoo and Global Wildlife Conservancy. They're also going to have water. Listen to this. This is very remarkable. They're going to be building a 5-mile Hyperloop transportation system that will weave its way through the project. It'll be the first working Hyperloop in the world. The system is being built by Hyperloop, and it goes on to say that people will get into a large tube, a vacuum environment, that can transport passengers at hundreds of miles per hour. Now, they talk about how there will be an emphasis on reduced cars, that there will be an emphasis on walkability, and there will be the reused canals, the water will have boats so that people can also boat. They can get in little boats.
And they're going to all be boating in their own sewage.
Yes, and it's called the City of the Future. And they're driving it as being the 21st century go-to location. They said it will surpass any location in California. People will want to go and visit this. This is the new ruralism. It is encompassing sustainability, green building, green infrastructure principles, and it's a new master plan community that is embracing smart growth. Again,
well, the only thing they don't have is gambling.
Well, I'm certain that will be part of what they will likely have.
Sooner or later, they'll figure a way.
Well, all I can say is that they're also creating it to be future-proof, in that the infrastructure will provide a platform for future updates and help avoid obsolescence. And they're going to minimize the need for vehicle trips and miles traveled. They're going to have heavy, heavy fines on water users that exceed their water allotment. This is attrition warfare. This is an encampment for those that are going to move there. This is confining the enemy without cars, under the illusion that this is going to be fun and that this is going to be a world-class sustainable community. Again, over 75,000 permanent residents in 25,000 dwelling units. So, again, Quay, this is a new town, Quay, in the Central Valley, where the farmers and ranchers are losing their farms and ranches due to the illusion of scarce water resources. Jeff, I want to thank you for having me on the program.
Oh, you're welcome.
Everyone, you can go to my website, stopthecrime.net, where you will find hot radio show topics at the top of the site. I urge all of you to take a look at the articles that I've discussed on the program this evening.
Thank you, and thanks to you and Lou for doing amazing work. Every time I hear these things, I can't believe it. It's getting crazier.
All right. That was rather lengthy. But I wanted you to hear her out for a bit because, wow, she's very amazing. And I'll have to one day find the really incredible interview she did on the fires specifically. But I wanted to play this in response to the mention of Agenda 21, Agenda 30, 2030. Anyhow, so I think we got through it, and we went longer than normal for a Friday night special. So I want to thank everyone for sticking around. That's all we got. What's up? K West is back. We're just finishing up. K West. Yeah, DW in the fires. She really killed it. But we'll have to go back and I'll have to go find that particular piece and have it ready. It's pretty mind-blowing. But wow, so where did we even start tonight? Well, we started with reviewing the denial in the Richard Allen case and how convoluted that was. And then we moved on to some of the news, especially the look at the IT outage this morning. Okay, the IT outage, CrowdStrike, and we went and looked into CrowdStrike a little and saw that it was aligned with the DNC and other nefarious actors. And I said that it's not a mistake. Okay, don't you know with software updates, those things are tried. Okay, so any software update that CrowdStrike would have normally have ready to go, it would be tested time and time again. It would be tested over and over to make sure it's faultless as possible and ready to go. It's not going to be such a devastating error in the software update as if the software update had never been tested on a single computer. So I guarantee you there's something awry when it comes to this IT outage, and my contention is that it's an intentional outage to sort of a false flag to distract the public's attention away from the news of the previous 5 days. And I think that's exactly what we had this morning. And we know where this company ties to. You can rewind and go back and watch the earlier part of the program if you have questions about that. And then what else did we talk about a bit? Oh, we talked about the shorting of the DJT Trump media stock, and how that was done by BlackRock and Vanguard affiliated Austin Investments, or whatever it's called. Was 12 million shares at a huge thing. And remember, 12 million shares, the share price of that particular stock is approximately $35 range at this time. It fluctuates at any time between maybe $17 and $49. So very, very interesting that all of these things have taken place. And I also touched upon the fact that it's pretty evident now that there is a second shooter in the deep state assassination attempt against Donald Trump. And we'll be talking about that some more too. And I said I was going to be producing a video for you to show you the evidence that I am looking at. I'll watch back from the start for the full experience and comment. You've done a marathon tonight. Well done. Lots covered. Yeah, it's a marathon, isn't it? Very long show, 3.5 hours. Normally I do an hour and a half Friday nights, but hey, that's what we had. And amazingly, no one clicked the link to join. I wish you guys would start clicking the link to join me on Friday nights especially, but often. But on Friday nights especially, then we can have more of a celebratory atmosphere and less doom and gloom. So thanks everyone for sticking around. Please hit the like and leave a comment below if you're on the replay. I love the comments always. They come throughout the day and keep me focused on what's going on with the channel and with you guys. So appreciate that. Yeah, I'd love to do more. So hit that link for me next time. Come and join me. Let's discuss. All right. So good night, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend to you. And hopefully we're going into a beautiful week. And God bless everyone. I love you.
Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie, fake it. My heart is so cold, my energy is contagious. All the pain, I can't take it. I'm staying grounded and graceful, cause I know everything that I've been through only made me count my blessings daily. Yeah, they been acting shady, but I don't take it personal. The memories fading, I'm enjoying the moment. I've been smelling the roses, taking time to reflect, stepping back, the truth unfolding, unfolding. Stand low, got nothing to prove, cause I'm about to blow. I've been in the booth, speaking to my soul. You know that I'm true, either way it go, either way it goes. I cannot turn cold, staying on the low. I've been protecting my soul. If your intentions are not pure, I can't let you get too close, cause I'm vibrating high. Ain't got time for your ego, these niggas quit to turn their back. Acting like the amigos, he never cared in the shows. Wasn't with you at your lows, assuming that you gonna fold. But baby, I've been growing ever since I let you go. And I've been doing better, and I know that hurts to know. Hurts to know. Only good vibes around me, and that's for sure. Only good vibes, good vibes. Good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes. Good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Only need good vibes, good vibes. Good vibes, good vibes. You see me searching for my inner peace. I've been learning more about myself and my purpose. Truth always come to the surface. Was hurting, but I had to heal. Releasing all the pain that I always held. Been going through some changes, I'll make it still.